Hello again, this is Randy. Welcome back to the shop today. Today we're going to be starting on the governor arm for the Galloway hit and miss engine. I got some pieces cut here and I've got some layout lines for the lever on this piece of steel here. I'll swing it around over to the drawing and I'll show you what we have to make. So these are the two parts that I have to make here. I got to make this arm right here, and it's got to have a disc silver soldered in this little groove right here in this slot, and I've got to make this yoke, and this gets silver soldered onto the end of the arm. I got pieces of material cut here to make both them parts, so let's head on over to the mill and get started. Okay, I'll make it. I'm just about to my line here. Right there. These chips out of the way here. We'll look at it again here. I'm going to come up another 5/1000 with the knee and then cut straight across. Right there. Okay. Now I got to true up the end. Got to machine this right to this line here. Set the length of this leg right up to that line. Here's what I got so far. You can see I machined it off right to the line there, and this part here from this line up to the corner needs to get machined off, and then I need to put an 1/8 inch slot in it right here. Okay, now I got an edge finder in here, and I got to find the center of this leg, and then it's got to have an 1/8 inch slot machined in it right in the center. Okay. Okay, I got an 1/8 inch end mill in there, and we're just going to plunge right straight down. And I need to offset 47 thousandths each direction. Cycle through. Okay, now we got to go 47 thousandths the other direction. All right. There's our part so far, and what I got to do now is I got to mill all this away to this leg here. I got to mill all this material away and and do the corners. And then this needs to have a recess machined in it here for a disc. I'll get all this machined away and I'll bring you back. Well, here's our completed part so far. It's got to have a disc silver soldered in this groove, and it's got to be machined flat with the rest of the arm. And now I got to machine the yoke that's going to fit around the collar that slides on back and forth on the crankshaft. All right, I already have this piece of material clamped in the vise. I got the hole drilled in it, and I have to bore it to like 1 inch 3/1000ths because it's got to fit over the collar that slides back and forth on the crankshaft. Let's see here. There we go. Make a pass through this hole here. Now I'll grab a snap gauge and we'll mic it. Okay. All right, we'll see where we're at here. We didn't have much to go. We're there already. We're like 3 thou over. So, okay. Now I got to get this cleaned up here a little bit and get the rotary table put on. And I have to turn a radius on this here. Alright, now I'm turning the radius on the outside of this part here. Raise the table up. Another 25. Make another pass here and then I'll be back. Alright, here's the part so far, and now I got to finish milling the side here, and I got to mill 2 straight legs on the inside of it. Grab a little pointer here. And the inside here, there's got to be a straight section right through here. Well, you'll see when I get there, but the radius is done. It's got to have a groove machined in it where the arm is going to get silver soldered to it. So okay, now I got 2 holes that I got to drill in this here. That's why I got a vise stop set in it, so I get the part back in the same depth. I found the center, and I got to drill 2 540 holes, 1 in each side. Okay. Got a number 38 drill here, which is tap drill size for 540. Ever so gently touch that with a countersink. Like that. Put our tap in. Put the mill in neutral. Take this out. Get a tap wrench. Okay. Tap this hole here. Here we go. Okay, I got to do the same thing to the other side. I'll do that one off camera and I'll be back. Okay, now I got to put a tiny little slot in the top of this arm here so that this arm will fit in there. This arm here will fit in that slot, and then this all gets silver soldered together. Okay. See if it touches. Yep, just touching. Okay. Raise the knee 25 thousandths. It's an 1/8 inch end mill, and my piece here is 140 thousandths wide. So I got to shift over, offset my cut 7.5 thousandths each direction. Okay. Now we'll see if it fits. I think that's going to. Get a file and clean those burrs up a little bit. Yeah, that arm just slides in there. So now I gotta make the disc that gets silver soldered here, and then all this can get silver soldered together. Okay, I got a little piece of silver solder underneath this disc. I had some of this flat silver solder, so I just cut a piece off, put it in the groove, and then I put the disc over the top of it. And I got a little tiny little piece of silver solder right there. So I'm gonna fire up this torch here, and we'll get it done. I bought a little jeweler's torch, and boy, that sure makes it nice. You don't have such a big flame with it. Takes a little bit longer to heat your parts up, but you can see a lot better what you're doing. All right, that should be good there. I'll heat this up here. I'm going to add just a little bit more on there. Let me go get it. Left it over on the other end of the bench. I'll make sure I got that good. That should be good. Now I gotta let that cool. Well, there's our completed part. It's all silver soldered together, and I had to trim the end off. That big piece I cut off and trimmed these ends, and put a little radius on this end here, and this is the pad that's going to push against the push rod that's going to actuate the lockout lever. I'll swing you around over here and I'll show you how this is going to fit on there. That's going to fit just like this here. This tiny little 1/8" pin is going to go through there. And when that governor activates, the weight is going to push against this arm here, which is going to move this arm. And when the push rod gets pushed out a ways, it's going to lock. Let me see if I can show you that. So the cam is going to come around like this here, and it's going to go up, and this arm is going to push that lever in, and then the push rod is locked. And this as this cycles around, when the governor pressure comes off, it releases it so that your push rod starts working again. Well, I think this is going to do it for this video. This was quite involved, not too bad, but enough. And I've got a parts tumbler, and I think I'm going to throw this parts tumbler in there for, I don't know, a couple hours and see what it looks like. See if it polishes it up a little bit, because I put it in my bead blaster and I glass beaded it to get all the black off from when I soldered it. But yeah, probably the next thing I'm going to do is make the shift collar that goes on the crankshaft that the two little 540 bolts is going to hold. Nothing super exciting there. I'll probably do that off camera. And then after that, why, I'll probably be starting on the flywheels. So I hope you found this interesting, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.